Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDoWorkHereLady. Today we have 3 great stories, and for the first story, I can tell that your day off didn't go well if you were fired by a foreman that you don't work for. So I'm hoping for your likes, and let's get started. I was fired by a guy I don't work for. I work as a utility sub-metering technician on new construction projects for residential buildings. It's essentially my job to program meters in each suite and supervise the work done by our contracted electricians. So last year I arrived at this new site on my own. Our company is small and I'm usually working independently. Because it's my first time on site, I have to go through site orientation conducted by the site supervisor, SS. My company has lots of new projects throughout the year, so I'm constantly going to new sites and taking part in many safety orientations. This one was no different, and I was hearing the same safety regulations I've heard countless times before. Anyway, I was half asleep when going through my orientation as it was 7 a.m. and I usually start work at 9 if I don't have to do a site orientation. There were a few other general laborers, GLs, doing the orientation with me at the same time who I did not know. As the SS was going through the safety regulations, he stopped and asked if we were all GLs who worked for Company X. Everyone except for myself nodded along. Because I was still sleepy and only half paying attention, I made the mistake of not speaking up and saying I did not work for Company X. Fairly unprofessional of me to not show up to work 100% awake, but hey, I'm human. After the orientation, the construction foreman, CF for Company X, walked in, and the SS told everyone that CF was the guy everyone had to report to. GLs come and go all the time, and Company X was a large contractor, so it's not totally unreasonable that the CF wouldn't have met the GLs at this particular project before. So everyone exits the site office where the orientation was being held, and all the GLs gather around the CF to be given assignments. Just basic crap like having to carry a bunch of material from one place to another. As the CF is giving these assignments to the GLs, I'm standing about 15 feet away with my notebook, quietly going over some project drawings. After the CF is done giving assignments to all the GLs, he walks up to me and in sort of a semi-aggressive way tells me it's very rude not to pay attention to him while he's giving out work assignments. He goes on to say that I've made a poor first impression with him. Next, he tells me to go help this other GL unload some material from a pallet, then walks away before I have time to clear up the misunderstanding. Now, in his defense, all the GLs are young looking, and I was 23 at the time, and many people say I have a baby face, so I can see how he would think I'm a GL. Around 1 hour later, I'm inside an electrical room working on setting up the layout of our main panel while on the phone with my electrician, and the CF walks by and notices me. He walks in and yells, "Are you effing kidding me? When you were finished unloading the pallets, you were supposed to come to me for your next assignment. Don't just go wandering off to do something else." Kind of weird because I never did do the work he told me to do earlier. I replied in an honestly somewhat frightened voice, "Please stop harassing me, sir. Can't you see I'm on the phone?" That really seemed to set him off because he then tried to grab my phone out of my hand. He seriously PO'd at this point. Next, he tells me that he's had enough and that I'm relieved of my duties. He told me to notify the SS that I'll be going home now. As he's just about to walk out of the room, he notices on the back of my safety vest the name of the company I actually work for. Stumbling on his words, he goes, "Wait, were you one of the guys John, random name, sent here for the week?" I replied, "No, I work for the utility metering company here." He then goes, "Oh, F me," and walks out of the room. The electrician, who was still on the line, started laughing because I guess he heard the whole thing. I wasn't laughing along with him, though. I was kind of scared at that point. I've never been fired from anywhere before. Definitely not how I wanted to start my morning, having a 50-plus-year-old homeless-looking fellow yell at me and try to snatch my phone. In this situation, you can always yell, "You can't fire me, I quit," and then go back to doing your actual job. And our next story. Ahem. Why aren't you looking at me? So, at the time, I worked in the mall in a bright and sparkly little girl's clothing store. This day, I was on break and ran to the other side of the mall to go into that store that all moms love to hate because we spend far too much time. The one where the employees wear khakis and red tops. I was in a hurry as I didn't want to spend my lunch there, but I needed bottle nipples because I swear the dishwasher eats them or my baby feeds them to the dog or who knows. Now, when I say sparkly, I mean sparkly. Seriously, after the snow melted one winter, you could see a path of glitter from where I parked my car to my front door. Needless to say, I dressed the part. This day I was wearing a bright purple sparkly shirt, a lanyard with my name tag on it. It's bigger than an index card with the store name in giant pink letters. It was hard to miss. Anyways, I'm power walking back from picking up these nipples and heading down the long aisle in the back of the store toward the front when I see/hear her. She's an older woman who desperately does not want to believe that she's 50 plus in a cheetah print jumpsuit, black sneakers, and her over-bleached hair pulled back in a ponytail from her overly tanned face. She's standing there yelling at someone to grab her a cart. I turn my head to see who's behind me, and it's a man of roughly the same age looking at her. I wrongly figured, oh, she must be with him and is sending him for a cart. So I kept walking toward her as my goal was behind her. She loses it, starts screaming about customer service, and I'm thinking this woman is crazy. Just keep walking, and may the gods have mercy on whoever she's yelling at. At this point, I'm nearly right in front of her, so she sidesteps in my path and snaps her fingers in my face. I halt as I'm a little shocked at the rudeness, and she yells, "Why aren't you looking at me? I told you to get me a cart." It was here that I realize she thinks I work here. I again look around just to make sure I'm not insane and there's not a ninja employee hiding in my shadow. Alas, there's not, so I gather up my nicest customer service voice since I'm technically representing the company I work for by having my lanyard on and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you thought I worked here. I don't. The carts are behind you at the front of the store, though." And I go to walk around her. She stops me again. At this point, I'm upset my lunch break is ticking away, and damn it, I want to eat. My smile disappears as she continues her yelling. "You are wearing a name tag. You work here. Get me a cart or I'll get your manager." That's it. I'm done. Lady, the people here wear red shirts and tan pants. If I worked here, I would be fired for not being in dress code. I work at insert store name while holding up my name tag, as you can find my manager there. Maybe when you talk to her, though, you could try being polite, as she doesn't like rude jerks. I stomp around her and go buy my things, as she mutters that I didn't have to be a B-word about it. So I then walk back to my store after paying for the baby item, a soda and chips, because I don't have time for a real lunch. I eat them on the way. I finish my chips in record time, clock in, and put the pin that says manager back on, and wait patiently. Sure as hell, about a half an hour later, in she comes. She sees me, now with my pinned manager tag, opens her mouth as I smile and wait. She must have decided she wasn't going to pursue it because she just turned around and left. It was the best moment I ever had as an assistant manager. Later on, I was telling my GM about it, and she laughed and said she'd keep her ears open for any complaints to the district manager and would explain if she did end up complaining higher up. To my knowledge, she never did. And our third story. Lady visited the same piece of tape every day for a week. One day, I got a wrong number voicemail. Mary Beth calling to let Tanya know that some tenants had moved out and she had a few apartments that needed cleaning. I'm not Tanya. I don't even know a Tanya. But I didn't want Tanya to miss out on work, so I called the lady's number back. It was a real estate office. The very tired, bored person who answered said Mary Beth was out for the afternoon. Do I want to leave a message? I told him the story about the wrong number, and he said he'd take care of it, though from his oh-so-unenthusiastic tone, I doubted it already. Next day, new voicemail from Mary Beth, more agitated. "Tanya, I can't believe you haven't shown up to clean the apartment. One of them has a piece of masking tape on the sliding glass door that's been there for 3 days. I can't show the apartment in that condition. Call me now and get your butt over there and clean." One more try. I call back, get a different but equally unmotivated office drone, left a message. "Tanya's not getting your voicemails because you're calling my number, which is the wrong number. There's no Tanya here. Please stop calling this number." Next day, another voicemail. "Tanya, I've been over there every day this week and you still haven't done any cleaning. And I can tell because the same piece of tape is still stuck to the door. When are you going to do something about this? This is so unprofessional. I can't believe you haven't even called me back to tell me you weren't going to clean." I didn't try to call Mary Beth and her lackadaisical minions. I wasn't sure whether to feel bad for Tanya, because very soon she'd probably be fired for not showing up, or to feel bad because she was working for this angry, obnoxious woman in the first place. Next day, I see Mary Beth's number on my phone and actually answer it. I start with, "Hi, you have the wrong..." but she cuts me off immediately, still screaming about masking tape and how inconsiderate and unprofessional I am for not calling her back. Again, I tell her, you have the wrong number. She says, oh, this isn't Tanya? Well, you tell Tanya, my third try, you have the wrong number. There's no Tanya here. I don't know any Tanya. I've called your office twice this week and told them you've got the wrong number. Tanya's not getting any of your messages. Lady, still not listening. Well, if you can tell Tanya that if she ever wants to work for me again, me, I can't tell Tanya anything. I don't know Tanya. Lady sounded like her head was about to explode. Tell Tanya if she doesn't clean today, she won't be getting any more work from me. Me. Good luck with that piece of tape. I hung up. Never heard from her again. Poor Tanya. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.